Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dychronic, your host on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about my literal #1 favorite legendary PvE shotgun in Destiny 2, the Seraph CQC-12 shotgun. God, after doing that like 18 times, I'm really good at saying that. So this video is going to be kind of an overview and review and showcase of the best possible god rolls for this particular weapon, which again, I consider to be the best PvE legendary shotgun in the game, and it is absolutely incredible, and you need to get yourself a good one before the end of the season, as they're going to be in the Umbral engrams and probably not available next season. And the CQC-12 is actually a worthy gun, meaning its sunset is 1310, so it will work next season and the season after that. Before I get started, just wanted to mention that I have a giveaway going on right now of an Astro A10 headset, a Blue Yeti microphone, and a GG Gamersubs gamer tub. So check a link in the description down below if you wanted to enter that. And of course, this is going to be for you guys who do support me, who continue to watch these videos, so thank you so much for watching, and thank you for entering. And of course, thank you to my sponsors. These giveaways would not be possible without them. Astro, Blue, and Gamersubs are all incredible products. I'm literally using them all right now as we speak. I am using a Blue microphone, I'm wearing an Astro A50 headset, and I am drinking GG Gamersubs. Moving on to the main section of the video, let's talk very generally about this weapon. This weapon actually released in Season of the Worthy. Like I said, it has a sunset level of 1310, meaning it can be used for quite some time. Currently in this season, you can find it in the Season 11 Worthy Focus Umbral Engram or the Legacy Seasons Focus Umbral Engram. And you have until the end of the season, which is around 40 days from now, to be able to get as many as you want. Specifically about this weapon, it is a lightweight frame shotgun, meaning it's 80 RPM, you move faster when holding it. It is an energy solar damage, and honestly, this thing does pretty considerable damage with some pretty amazing perks. If you've seen many of my top 10s, you know that I do DPS spreadsheets for both PvE specials and heavy weapons, and for this particular weapon, it is literally 8th place with duplicates in my whole list of all the specials that I tested. And if you can see on screen right now a picture of my spreadsheets, you'll notice that there's a couple of shotguns that are actually above it, including the Imperial Decree, which actually has a lot more total ammo damage, and in this video with the god roll, I would honestly say it's still better, and I'm going to talk about why. Moving forward, let's talk about PvE for this particular weapon, which again is where I believe it to excel. First up, let's talk about the god roll. And god roll is actually much more subjective than people make it out for. Every single person has their own set of perks that they believe to be the best. Hopefully, I'm able to convince you that most of these perks are really, really good. So my particular god roll is going to be Corkscrew Rifling, Assault Mag, Autoloading Holster, Trench Barrel, and either a range or handling masterwork. Now, each one of these perks is actually very specifically selected and all help you do what you need to do with a PvE shotgun. Firstly, for Corkscrew Rifling, this helps with your handling and your range without sacrificing anything else. For the second column, you have Assault Mag. That increases your RPM with this weapon from 80 to 90, which obviously considerably increases the DPS of this weapon. The third column, and also what separates this weapon from the Imperial Decree and the Ikela shotgun, is going to be Autoloading Holster, a perk that I believe to be an absolute game changer for special and heavy ammo weapons in PvE across the board. If you can have a special heavy with autoloading, do so. It drastically improves the potential DPS you have with combinations of weapons, on top of making things a lot simpler, a lot faster, and honestly, it's very nice to know that you have ammo in a weapon. And again, Imperial Decree and Ikelos and all the other special shotguns with Trench Barrel, none of them have Autoloading Holster as well. And this is also true for a lot of other weapons. If you see a lot of my Grandmaster or probably other people's Grandmaster Nightfall videos, you'll probably see things like Ariana's, Wendigo, Interference 6, Wither Horde. All of these weapons have autoload. Even Truth Teller has autoloading. There are so many weapons that have autoloading that are just so incredible because of it. And for the fourth column, I like to use Trench Barrel because it increases your DPS pretty consistently, as opposed to the Ikelo shotguns, which actually Trench Barrel lowers their DPS if they're using that particular part of it. And I use Trench Barrel over Vorpal weapon because oftentimes I'm using shotguns against majors more than I'm using against mini bosses and bosses. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And lastly, for the masterwork, honestly, I favor handling and need handling for switching faster and aiming faster than I do for range in PvE, but it is up to you. And again, what separates this particular shotgun from all the other legendary shotguns is the fact that it has Trench Barrel, the best damage increase for shotguns, Autoloading, one of the best reload perks for special and heavy ammo weapons, and it also has Assault Mag, which Imperial Decree does have Assault Mag, but Ikelos and a lot of the other ones do not. And increasing your RPM is always a good thing. Next up, I wanted to talk about the feeling of this weapon. Given that it is a lightweight frame shotgun, it has a pretty fast speed. Getting through strikes faster, escaping damage faster is always a good thing, and you should have at least one lightweight frame option if you can. And with that, I also like the RPMs on the weapon. I've been using Imperial Decree with Trench Barrel for so long, and it's always felt so slow and clunky when there's multiple targets in front of you, or you just need to kill that target a little bit faster. This RPM feels a lot better, and honestly, it is the second highest in the game. And with that, it also has great damage, S-tier perks, a good balance of ammo to number of shots as compared to the rapid fire and aggressive frame shotgun. When it comes to pairing with this weapon, honestly, it's going to be the meta. Hand cannons, auto rifles, and pulse rifles, because you do need a better range coverage with a shotgun. And as I mentioned before, the best possible thing to use this weapon for is going to be against majors, and of course sometimes lesser health mini bosses. In my opinion, shotguns are not really going to be your mini boss or your boss weapon. Oftentimes you're going to get hit by a slam attack, get launched away, or deal a considerable amount of damage to your health because of that attack. And honestly, if you're going to be in that close of range with bosses, you might as well just be using a sword. Put down a bubble, or rift, or a well, and go to town on that boss with a sword with double the DPS that this weapon can offer. What shotguns are going to be used for is going to be getting some pretty good damage jumps in a nice close range without being within melee range. And I know what you're probably thinking. If you're using Trench Barrel, won't you be in melee range anyways? What's the point? There's actually a decent way to get around that. Oftentimes, if you're using Trench Barrel, you want to lead with a shot to stumble the target. If you shoot them first, they stumble back, you get that punch off, and as they go to melee you back, you can back up out of that melee range, and of course, shoot those 3 shots into it, which allows you to keep at a pretty decent range away from them without ever having to get too close. Up next, let's talk about the PvP side of things. I will say right off the bat, I did technically put every single other archetype of shotgun ahead of this particular archetype on my PvP spreadsheet, and I still believe that to be true. However, this weapon does have efficacy. A lot of people do like to use it, and it has a pretty decent set of perks as well. Firstly, for the god roll, or my particular god roll, a lot of it's going to be revolving around range and speed. For example, using full choke, accurized rounds, and range masterwork. And for third and fourth, I like to use quick draw and vorpal weapon. Firstly, pretty much all of the special ammo weapons, or some primary ammo weapons in PvP, quick draw is an excellent weapon. Helps you swap faster, ready faster, aim down sights faster, an incredible perk. Honestly, is a little bit too powerful for PvP. And of course, for the fourth perk, Vorpal Weapon, honestly, there's not a lot of other perks that are really great, but having Vorpal Weapon means the shotgun can be more effectively used against enemy supers. For the feeling of this weapon, again, because it's a lightweight frame, the fast speed is very nice, increases your sprint speed, increases your slide distance, allows you to escape better. However, I oftentimes find that the RPM versus range is really not that good. It's in the middle zone, which in PvE is a Goldilocks zone, whereas in PvP is a not very good zone. Personally, I'd rather use a rapid fire because of its RPM, and of course an aggressive for its range. And just like the PvE side of things, the best pairing with this weapon for good range coverage and of course the meta is going to be hand cannons, auto rifles, and pulse rifle. And that's going to be pretty much it. Let me know in the comments down below what you'd like to see next from me in this particular series, where we take a very specific look at a particular weapon, or perhaps talk about why it's bad. We could just make fun of it the whole time. Let me know in the comments down below. And don't talk about that voice crack, eh? Anyways, I've been your host, Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.